In this lecture, we're going to see how we can wrap around iterators from other containers. And let's look at a simple example to really drive this home. Suppose we have our own class called vector wrapper here, and it is just going to be wrapping around an std vector of t called mItems, and we will be manipulating this in our class. We only have a single method to really try and work with us. But the important thing is that we want this class here to support iterators. But we don't want to do the hard work to set up our own iterators because we know that what we are wrapping around already has the iterators that we need. So we can just return those iterators, and that's what we are doing here. We have our iterator methods on top. We have begin and cBegin and cEnd, and they are going to be returning the iterators from our collection here. You see, begin is going to just return mItems begin, and is just going to return the end iterator from the vector. cBegin is going to return cBegin, cEnd is going to return cEnd, and this is going to work really well. We also have an output stream operator which is going to print our vector wrapper, but this is nothing complicated. We just want to print this in stdcout. Once we have this, and we can set up a vector wrapper just like this, we're going to put in the data, and this is going to work with a bunch of algorithms. For example, we can use a range-based for loop here. We can use this with a view, just like we are doing here. This is going to work really well. Let's head over to Visual Studio Code and play with this a little more. Here we are in our working folder. The current project is wrapping iterators from other containers. We are going to grab the code from our template files here. That's going to be our starting point, and we're going to put that in here. And we're going to crack this open in Visual Studio Code by dragging and dropping here. This is going to give us our main CPP file. Let's clean this up a little bit and remove what we don't need. We are going to put in a few headers that we need. We have a vector, algorithm, and ranges. And we are going to put in our vector class, our vector wrapper, I should say. And it is just going to have a private member called mItems. That's going to be an std vector of t. We are going to have an add method, which is just going to add things to the back of the vector. We have an output stream operator. And the important thing is that we have a bunch of iterator methods. We have begin and end, which are going to return non-const iterators. We have cBegin and cEnd, which are going to return constant iterators. But we also have const overloads to make this work with constant vector wrapper objects, and this is going to be really cool. Once we have this in, our class here is going to work with a wide range of algorithms from the C++ template library. Okay, once we have this in, we can head over in the main function and play with it. We're going to create our object, which is a vector wrapper of std string, and we're going to be adding stuff and printing out our vector wrapper. Let's pass this through the compiler. We can use any compiler. I am just going to use GCC, my favorite. The build is going to be good. We can bring up a terminal window, and we can run Rooster. And once we do this, we're going to see our data printed out. Nothing complicated here, but the important thing is that this is going to work in many scenarios where iterators are needed. For example, this is going to be able to work with range-based for loops. Let's pass this through the compiler to see this. The build should be good. So let's clear and run Rooster. We're going to see this printed out again through our range-based for loop. This is really cool. But this is not going to stop there. For example, we can use the range adapter, which is only going to take 2 elements from our collection. And we're going to print the data from our view that results from this piping we are doing here. So let's pass this through the compiler, and this is going to work. The build is going to be good. If we clear and run Rooster, we're going to see hello world printed out here as a result of taking only 2 items from our collection here. And this is really all I wanted you to see in this lecture, that you can set up classes that wrap around containers providing iterators, and not have to set up your own iterators, but use iterators from those containers that you are wrapping around and do all kinds of crazy things. We are going to stop here in this lecture. In the next one, we're going to try and recap what we saw in this chapter. Go ahead and finish up here and meet me there.